Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana and I post about a different variety of things because my brain is like, I'm an overthinker, so it's hard for me to just settle on one thing. But one thing that hasn't changed over the years, I'm a very avid fan of true crime. Anything true crime, that's me. Whether it be a book, whether it be a TV show, whether it be whatever it is, it's true crime. I actually wanted to become a psychologist because I wanted to, sit down and get into the minds of seriously demented people. I want to know why they kill, but I don't think that would be a good combination for me, because then I'm taking on their problems with my own problems and then combine that and it would not be good. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the disappearance of Aleacia Stancil. She was eventually found after 24 years, but let's get into it. Aleacia Stancil was born on March 13th, 1994. She was born to a single mother by the name of Toni Stancil. At the time of Alicia's birth, she was premature and she was addicted to drugs because her mother, who had had a hard life prior to her birth, she was in the Air Forces at one point. After she got home, she got addicted to drugs, and it got really bad that she actually turned to prostitution to, start supporting her habit. So she was on drugs throughout her pregnancy, and that's why Aleacia was born addicted to drugs. And at the time of Alicia's birth, she was actually on parole for drug charges. And I don't know why the hospital allowed her to go home with her mother, because usually when babies are born addicted to drugs, Child Protective Services will come in and take the child from the mother. But that didn't happen in this case. At the time of Alicia's disappearance, on December 19th, 1994, she was living with her mother and her grandmother. And that particular day, Toni had gone into an argument with her mother. She took Aleacia, left the house, and met up with her friend named Dee at Greenway Motel. And this all happened in Phoenix, Arizona. She then decided to leave Aleacia with Dee, saying, I need to clear my head. And she left her with Dee, and she was gone for about 3 or 4 days. When she came back, Dee was nowhere to be found. Now, Toni did not report Aleacia missing until March of 1995, when she was again arrested for, I think it was drug use or prostitution. That's when she decided to report that Aleacia was missing. Again, she was living with her mother at some point, so no one noticed that Aleacia wasn't around. Like, what was the conversation around that? I would love to know. But the police investigated, but there weren't many leads. All they had was a first name, Dee, and the last place that Aleacia was seen, or that Toni left her, was at the Greenway Motel in Phoenix, Arizona. The case went cold after that. Toni was found murdered in December of 1995. She was 37 years old. Her murder still remains unsolved to this day. Before the case had gone cold, or at the beginning of the investigation, police had actually taken DNA testing from family members, from Toni herself, the grandmother, and put it into CODIS just in case that Aleacia was eventually found one day. In 2014, a woman showed up in Connecticut, which is 2,000 miles away from Phoenix, Arizona, and she knew nothing about herself. She had no ID, and like I said, she knew nothing about herself. She couldn't answer any of the questions that the hospital was asking her. The nurse that was on duty that day, got curious and went online and started searching for missing people. And she found a composite sketch of Aleacia, from a baby up until her age that she would have been at that time. And she found the photo and she thought, okay, the woman in the waiting room actually kind of looks similar. She called the police and they came in and they started to investigate. They took a DNA test from Aleacia, or at the time, we didn't know if that was her, but they took her DNA test and they sent it out to get tested. This took 3 years. 3 years to come back, and it was a match. It was Aleacia. And Ever since then, the case, there's not much revealed because the grandmother, Frances Ford, has come forward and said that Aleacia wants her privacy. They had been able to meet up and, you know, at least had 1 or 2 conversations. And she said that, you know, during her disappearance that Aleacia had a very complicated and, you know, tough upbringing. She had actually been passed around from person to person, and she was in the care of Child Protective Services at one point and was eventually adopted out. Now, if she was adopted out, why didn't she have ID in her name? Because she grew up under a different name. So why didn't she have ID in her new name? You know, Child Protective Services, you know, and the police were involved at the time of her disappearance because, like I said, she had been passed from person to person. So why didn't anybody match up? Okay, March of 1995, a baby was reported missing from December of 1994. So why wasn't, you know, there wasn't enough proper investigation. And then when Alicia's mother died, Tony, she was the only witness. So that's why the case mainly ran cold. But that's all that I have on this story. Let me know what you think about it. Have you ever heard about it? I mean, to me, Aleacia and her mother were failed because Tony was in the Air Forces, you know, and we see that a lot of time when people that are in the military, you know, they retire or they get injured and they come home, there's no services to help them get back into a civilian lifestyle. There's no counseling. A lot of them end up homeless and addicted to drugs like Tony's mother did because there wasn't much resources probably to help her, especially back in 1994. You know, and Aleacia was born addicted to drugs, and the hospital knew that and let her go home with her mother. You know, it's a sad story, but she was found, she was alive, and like I said, she wants her privacy. Not much is known from 2014 from when she was found, and that's the way she wants it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.